Hi Inkies, and welcome to your video. I'm recording this after I've actually completed the journal with me because I realized when I recorded this yesterday I wasn't in the mood for talking or doing an intro or anything like that, and so I just got straight into it after probably so many hours of procrastination. And I think that's kind of what happens when when I don't want to create and I don't feel like creating, but I know I've got to create. And so I decided that I would try and change things up. I always try and tell you guys, if you're in a rut, change things up. And I sat and I stared into oblivion for what felt like half the day. And then I happened to see this peeking out on one of my bookshelves, and I said, why not? Why not give it a go again? I know so many people have been asking about my sewing book journal, and I kind of lost interest in it. I think it's because I felt like my big original one was the be all and end all and everyone loves it, and comparing it to that one and the stuff, some of the pages that I had done in here I wasn't completely in love with. I mean, there are some bits and pieces that I love and will keep, and there are pages that are like half finished because I only really started the series on YouTube and then I kind of just didn't go any further. I'm just checking to make sure that I don't show you the finished pages, but this is kind of where it got to after my video with the YouTube. It didn't really go very far at all, and I think that I may return to it every now and again because it's got so much potential. I can't do the next page because that was the video. And there are things in this journal like this that I don't like anymore, and the page that I currently worked on in your video was another page I did not like at all. And I think when I get to the point where in a journal where I start pages and I absolutely hate them, or I get to a part where I have a lot of sections in that journal that I don't like, it kind of takes away the joy for me and the enthusiasm for that journal. And even though this one barely got off the ground, I was already at that stage with this journal. I was like, I don't like it. I don't like what I've done with it. I feel like it's just not very nice. So when I was sitting here in my own melancholy and just that unmotivated, winter really knocks me around mentally. And even though I love winter itself, I don't like the mood and the mindset that I get into. I don't deal well with being cold. So when I am cold, I don't want to move, I don't want to work, I don't want to draw, create, nothing. So winter is such a crappy time for me creative wise, so that I was just like, I need to do something. I need to find something to get that spark going. Because once I get the domino effect, I'm okay. And I thought, okay, why not? So I pulled out this journal and I went, yeah, this needs a makeover. This needs to sort of breathe some new life into a journal that I'm not that keen on at the moment, that could have lots of potential if I gave it a bit more attention. So I did work on a double page spread in this journal for your video. It will be in speed with some music. I will say some bits and pieces, but it's very easy to follow along with. I'm not doing any special techniques. I am literally creating a whole new page with what was already there. So I do cover up most of what was there. I leave barely anything, but it goes to show that even though a journal has been worked in and it's not your favorite and it doesn't inspire you, there is no rule saying you can't cover that crap up. And I kind of said that to myself. And there's pages in my little passport journal too that I hate, and I think reworking over old pages needs to be a thing. It needs to be okay to do. I just think if there's so much of this book still, like I only took out a few pages, it's got so much potential. And I know that it was a huge hit the start of the series on YouTube, and I get asked about it, so I get so many comments about this journal and so many questions about this journal. Will I ever go back to it? And I think that I need to sort of get some momentum, and so I decided yesterday that I would pull this out and try and reinvigorate myself to work in this journal. I just think that sometimes you got to show up, you got to do the hard things, because I did not want to be in my studio yesterday. I didn't want to be creating. I'm in this weird limbo phase. I don't know. It's very hard to put into words, but it does knock my creativity around quite a bit. So I decided to just tell my muse to get on board because I've got work to do, and I slowly found my groove. It took me a while. It took me a couple of hours, and I was losing light, especially since I started so late in the day. But I think I got there in the end, and I think it really helped with pushing through even though I didn't want to do. So I think if you are feeling crappy, unmotivated, and not in the right headspace, I want you to show up to your journal today, even if it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, even if it's just to put some pen to paper, paint to paper. You don't have to write, you don't have to draw, just glue a few bits and pieces down, some ephemera from your day. Show up. It is such a healing tool, our journals. They do so much for us without asking for anything in return, and I think they have such a magical power about them that even when we're feeling craptastic, not motivated, and don't want to create, it just takes showing up at your table, your bed, your desk, your lap, and just doing it, even for a little bit. Even if you do it and you still don't feel okay, then put it aside, but at least give it a go, give it a try, because I promise you, 9 times out of 10 you will get into the groove, you'll enjoy yourself. Put some music on. It's the other thing that I do. I was going to do a video about how to get out of a mental funk, what I do in regards to creativity, but I didn't know if anyone would really want that, because not all of us have the same issues. Not all of us have anxiety and depression, all those sort of things. There are a large chunk of us that do, but I didn't think that the video would get well received. So I decided to do this one instead, because I know that you guys enjoy watching me create, and obviously creating in a different type of journal, and seeing my page go from one type or one look from where it was previously made to where it is today. So I hope you enjoy this little quick journal with me in my lovely sewing book. And if you want more videos with me working in this journal, if you want this journal to make a comeback, pop it down below so I know whether to keep this series going or whether I should just let it die out. Right, let's get on with the video. When it came to actually creating, I didn't want to. I wasn't feeling great. I've had a really tough couple of months mentally, and creative stuff, creativity on command, is one of the hardest parts about my job. I love what I do as a job, but there's always that niggling sound in the back of my head when I wake up and I know I've got to record a video. What if I can't be creative on command? What if what I create isn't good enough? What if what I do is not going to be enjoyed? It's not going to help anyone? What if? And that what if voice haunts me on a daily basis. It always questions me, it always makes me doubt myself, and it always makes me unmotivated to create anything. And so some days, like today, I decided to get up, which is a feat in itself. There should be awards for getting out of bed each day, and I need one of those awards because sometimes I don't want to get out of bed, and the last thing I want to do is create anything. But on this day, I knew I had to work, and that is one of the other reasons why I am so grateful for my job, because I know I have a responsibility to you, to my family, to the people that expect things from me, and that helps me show up and do the hard things. And 9 times out of 10, the moment that I sit down at my desk and I open up my journal, everything is okay. There are much worse off situations in the world. I've been in much worse situations in my past. So I am forever grateful to be able to do this as my job. But that doesn't mean that creativity on command can just switch on like a light switch. We have to show up to our journals. I have to show up to my journal. And I knew I was in a rut, and I opened up my other journals, and I kept sitting there staring off into space, and I knew that I had to do something because daylight was fastly disappearing. My teacup humans were coming home from school very, very soon, and I had done nothing. And then I saw my sewing book peeking out from the bookshelf where it had been stashed months and months and months ago after I did a little bit of it for YouTube, and I didn't love the pages that I created. I mean, at the time when I created them, I loved them, but I grow and I change as an artist, and when I opened up the journal and looked at the pages, I was not inspired by what I saw. I didn't like half the things that I created. They were so unfinished, they were so boring. And so I decided to sit down and changed what I didn't like. And I think that was me trying to change me on the inside, changing my mindset. If you don't like something, change it. And I know that sounds really simple to do and to say, and believe me, it's not. But we have to try, we have to show up, and we have to do those hard things. Change what we don't like, cover up what we don't like, just turn it into a butterfly if you are seeing a moth. And even moths are beautiful. But this journal page was definitely something that I enjoyed doing, and it was very cathartic to cover up all the stuff that I didn't like. And there are a couple more pages that I created for YouTube that I don't like. So I definitely will be enjoying the process of covering them up and changing it, and enjoying a different journal style from my normal journal in my traveler's notebook.
You and I, we tried so hard to make it. You promised me that you would never leave. But time and time again, I knew you'd break it. You said, honey, it's just the nature of my being. I wanted an adventure. I wanted something new. I gave you half my heart and figured there is just no trust in you.
Even though there's nothing amazingly different about this journal spread, I didn't go all out. I didn't draw anything. I literally created these pages using collage sheet elements, scraps of paper, and paint. And sometimes that's all you need to have a really good time. It is one of my favorite, most cathartic things that I can possibly do. And sometimes you have to do your favorite things in order to give yourself the ability to get a little bit inspired. There's no point me trying to push and draw and create something, a line work drawing, when my heart is not in it. That is almost a form of torture, especially when you're not motivated to create. I knew that if I sat down to try and draw today, on this day, I would have drawn a whole heap of nothing. I would have been frustrated, and then that negative cycle would have gotten so much worse. So I decided that I would just use my collage elements and really give this page a complete rework, and then maybe this would give me the feeling of this journal could be a whole new thing if I wanted it to. And that is really, really important, especially when a journal has been sitting dormant for a really, really crazy long time, probably over a year. I haven't touched or looked at this journal. I tell a lie. I have opened it up and looked at it and gone, God, these pages are horrible. I didn't like what I did. And then I close it again. And so it never got that second chance that some journals need. I know we've all got journals sitting in the depths of our bookshelves and drawers and things. If you've got a journal that you absolutely hate and you've got work in there that you're not a fan of, and it's, work from ages ago when you were still learning something, if and only if you think it could have a whole new life, it could be repurposed, reused, and reloved, then cover those pages up with things that motivate you and make you happy and really bring you joy. Because there's no point hoarding journals that are filled with things that you don't like. I would rather completely paint over these pages and enjoy that process of covering up old things that don't bring me any joy and putting down things that do give me joy. Now, I've always said that my sewing journal is where art and life collide, and there is no different to this journal. It is a mixture of photographs, art, writing, all those bits and pieces that have just come together on the one page. And it is very nice to have a huge amount of space to play with. And I don't know where this journal will head, but this journal page definitely gave it a new lease on life. And I think that there may be more journal videos to come from this journal. And even if you guys said, no, we don't really want any sewing book journal videos, that's okay, totally understand. It would probably become something that I do off camera, because once I got into my groove, I had a really good time. And that's generally what happens when I show up and I take 20 minutes to do the hard things, and then those hard things disappear and it just turns into happy things.
Hello, my heart beats, hello again. Between the worries, we head for land. I will be fighting to hold the line. We're never hiding, we never lie. And I'll be coming home, and you'll be going strong. And I know there is a reason. Now we're ready to be whole. Yeah, ready to be whole. And I'll be coming home, and you'll be going strong. My love, infinity. And I'll be coming home,
I wake up from the sunshine on my face, so dehydrated, don't know what to say. Who's sleeping by my side? What did I do last night? Can someone make this headache go away? Yesterday was supposed to be quiet, being to myself and sit in silence, until I got a call. My friend showed up at my door. They wanted me to go out for a while. We were dancing in the dark with a feeling in our eyes. Felt like we had it all. We were dancing in the dark. We were dancing in the dark. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. to blame. We're drinking way too much. I guess I got caught up. Can someone make this headache go away? We were dancing in the dark with a feeling in our eyes. Felt like we had it all. We were dancing in the dark. We were dancing in the dark. We were dancing in the dark with a feeling in our eyes. Felt like we had it all.
I altered the photograph in an editing program to make it bright and crazy and colourful. It is literally a photo of me looking dead tired, but I didn't want that photo of me to bring down the whole feeling of the spread, so I changed it to more poppier colours so it fit in. And the photograph on the other side of the page is of my studio, which sometimes I need to be reminded that I am so lucky to have a studio and that it is definitely a place that I am happy in and brings me a lot of joy. So it's kind of that visual reminder that I have such a sacred little place in my house, and to spend more time here and get out of bed, and even if it's just to sit in this space, it really does do me a whole lot of good. I hope you've enjoyed seeing this page come together. I want to know if this is something you want to keep seeing, if you want to see me transform some of the other pages, or if you'd like the series to die. I understand, I want your honest opinion, but I hope you have a wonderful day at showing up at your journal, and I'll see you again soon.
When the
Bye.
old one's gone under.